The aftermath of UFC 207 still includes a lot of reaction to Ronda Rousey's Instagram fight against Amanda Nunes. Call it Instagram fight, Francis, because a lot of the times in the UFC, a lot of the fights that Ronda Rousey was on the right side of throughout her career could be watched on the old Instagram video that was 20 seconds, and now the new Instagram video that can go up to a minute.
Wow.
Secondly, totally random. Instagram should have they should be able to see how long the video is and be able to scrub through it. I think it's very frustrating.
You have to
that
wait.
there's like a video, it could be 40 seconds, and you're just kind of waiting, and it's an impatience thing, but you should be able to scrub through, you know, find what you need.
That's the next step. They've been trying to adjust. They now do live videos, I believe, on Instagram
live,
as well.
they do
So
Snapchat
everyone's
style.
doing the same thing. Why not just combine everything into one major social media platform, where you can have videos, where you can tweet, where you can watch everything Donald Trump's doing?
Monopolistic, if that's even a word.
Sounds like our capitalist world we live in.
What would you call it?
Insta, Twitter, gram, feed, chat.
We'll call it Facebook. It already exists. Damn it. All right, so Francis, for one, we haven't heard your take.
My take.
What do you think happened? What you know?
It's very easy. It's not going to be complicated. There's not much discussions you can have.
A lot
on
of fight
strategy.
breakdown. Second by second would take 48
Yeah,
seconds.
exactly. You could go through second by second and wrap up the video pretty swiftly. She went in with a silly approach to a striker who is one of the most dangerous women in the world. You went in to fight against someone in the complete wrong fashion. You went in to box someone. The way she stood, her stance, she didn't try to gauge any sort of distance, any sort of range. She just walked straight into her punches, and she ate them. She tried to chew her punches. Understandably, in no world would that make sense. So, especially after what happened in your last fight, where Holly Holm exposed this weakness to Ronda Rousey's fighting game. She's fantastic in the ground. She's fantastic at submissions. She is a warrior when she's able to wear down her opponents and get them on the ground. She stood up, tried to go toe-to-toe. After you take that first punch, you alter your game plan. That's what some of the best fighters will do, because that first punch rocked her. But she tried to walk forward. She was in her own mind, oh, I'm back, I'm ready to go for this. I can eat those punches, I'm Ronda Rousey. But that's Amanda Nunes, and she's got a ferocious combo, and she sent her to the canvas.
What I found so fascinating about this fight is for a third time at a UFC fight and second time actually covering it, which we're going to be doing a lot more of through this year, especially the ones locally, or at least Vegas being locally within a 4-hour driving distance. The fans in the crowd, not one single Amanda Nunes fan.
Yeah.
And the only thing I could say is that is on the UFC. Now, a lot of people are also talking about it's ridiculous that Ronda Rousey got $3 million and Nunes got 1/50th of that amount. Well, at the same time, Amanda Nunes could not sell that stadium out. Actually, Amanda Nunes in Las Vegas as a headlining fight on its own couldn't sell out 3,000 people. The UFC needs to learn from this. They need to put their eggs into 10 baskets instead of 2, because one of those baskets is now off the table. You have McGregor left, your other superstar, to sell fights. Superstar in terms of selling is now gone. She will not sell fights anymore. She's probably done. Her nutritionist who's been with her, Mike Dolce, I know, her nutritionist, he's been with her throughout her whole career, says it's 50-50. I just look at it this way. Ronda Rousey cannot handle losing. In her mind, she has no identity. In her mind, she has no identity without an undefeated record. So when she lost to Holly Holm, that was it. It's been 13 months. Media trips aside, movies aside, everything else, she went back through training. And the person I blame are her coaches for thinking that she could become a boxer. That was a bad idea. They learned nothing from the Holly Holm fight. That was very evident. And now, Ronda Rousey's career has probably come to an end. But what does that mean? So Kobe Bryant was one of the sages of wisdom in his, I can't even call him old, he's like 40 years old, and sent this tweet out about 12 hours after the fight had ended. This is the next day, New Year's Eve. He sent this out to say, instead of clapping for Ronda Rousey's defeat, give her a standing ovation for putting the sport on the map. He's right about this when it comes to Ronda Rousey's career, because we have Sherdog, I think it's the B number 10 is Rousey's record. Fight fans have the shortest memory of any fan in history. And I have been criticizing fight fans because the more I get to know the casual fight fan, the more it's frustrating that they look at it on a surface level, and all they will ever see is those 2 red losses. This is already after she started making a run, but if you remember at Weidman vs. Silva 2, UFC 168, her first armbar submission, following up against Sarah McMahon, follows up again with Weidman on the main event against Alexis Davis, and then Kat Zingano and Betcha Correa, and she could not be touched. Her ground game was unbelievable. She was able to get the punches in for knockouts. And the Holly Holm fight came around. Ronda Rousey should be remembered for 2 things. This might sound harsh. She should be remembered for putting women's MMA on the map as the pioneer in the sport, and she should also be remembered for being one of the worst losers in the sport. She can't handle defeat. She deserves credit for being a pioneer, but the twilight of her career and how she handled it was not handled like a professional.
The reason why everyone's talking about the defeat is it's so easy to share your reaction on the defeat. You don't want to talk so much about the rise. It's a little bit boring if you're going to go into all the detail about all the hard work she gave and everything she did to put the sport on the map and that rise. It's easy to talk about that when she's winning because that gathers the headlines. People are going to be interested to talk about everything that Ronda Rousey has done to get her to that point. Oh, look at all the training she did in the past. Look at her childhood. Look at everything that gave to this fighter being one of the most phenomenal athletes we've seen in the sport. But when she's losing, no one really cares about that. All they care about is the memes and tweets and the laughing and what's going on with her. So I do sympathize with her in terms of that. Like, it's always going to be, the fall is always going to be greater than the rise, especially when it comes to Ronda Rousey. But I understand what you're saying as well. It's like she didn't deal with the first loss professionally because she didn't know how to deal with losing. That's the difference, is you can't prepare yourself for losing. Like, it's, if you lose time and time again, she took this loss better than she took the first one because she now has had a taste of it. I agree with what you were saying. I think that she only knew winning and she only knew how to react in this environment being on top. She was the undefeated champion and she was one of the main ambassadors to the sport. So everyone loved to look out for what she was going to bring into the octagon. So when you lose that firepower and you lose a lot which was true to her. But at the same time, she should have looked at how many people were coming to see her come back as a significant indicator as to what she meant for the sport. But she took that and she was ill prepared. She came in as a professional, as a mixed martial artist who is obviously got a ridiculous amount of fights under her belt. She should have been better prepared for this. But I'm not going to solely discredit Ronda Rousey because I think that we have to be looking at Amanda Nunes more so because whilst this the women's MMA, specifically this division, has been changing hands quite a lot. I think we're going to see a champion hold on to it for a while. I think she's going to take a lot to be dismantled because she has shown to be a ferocious striker, very prepared, confident, strong on the ground as well. But as much as we cannot just solely look at Ronda Rousey as that girl that got knocked out twice, that woman who was good but got knocked out, because she did do a lot for the sport. The reason Amanda Nunes came about and Miesha Tate and all these people came about is because the sport has grew. Therefore, more people want to partake in the sport and more people want to come out and fight.
There's a featherweight division coming.
Yeah.
A new division added to women's MMA, one that had 2 for a little bit of time. So, look, Ronda Rousey is still going to circulate headlines now, but for probably more frustrating reasons than anything else. Because we knew she was going to come back at some point, so when they kept saying, who's the rumored fight going to be? When is she going to fight? It had some substance. Now, if she comes back again, she's lost the sympathy from a lot of people, especially in the media, because don't forget, the reason why I'm a little frustrated with Ronda Rousey is the fact that she got the exception. You don't have to do media ahead of this fight, because you couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
It's special treatment for special fighters. We know, regardless what Dana White says, that certain fighters, we'll get to another clip on that later, get special treatment. Yeah. Ronda Rousey was one of those special fighters, but now she's not. And now we'll probably see her in movies and maybe some TV appearances in, who knows, 13 months. But in terms of the reaction, well, there's a few good ones that I have to throw to. Because, look, the internet is great for a lot of things, especially immediate reaction. And sometimes they're funnier than others. Yeah, but the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. I really hope this takes over because, man, the 3-1 lead is not even fun anymore. Next. Oh, wacky inflatable arm flailing tube man. Standing TKO. She looks shocked. And last, I can't believe this only got 1 retweet. girls be like, just add a filter.
Yeah, like I thought when you go to this, you like just take from the top of the pile, but you're going deep. Like one retweet and then another one, 2 favorites.
That is one of the best. Are you kidding? Like, how does that not? First, that's why maybe the internet's rigged. It's rigged.
I don't know, man.
Russia has interfered.
I was expecting millions of retweets. Like they go to.
Does anything have 1 million retweets?
I don't know. Justin Bieber's reaction was pretty close.
Ellen DeGeneres'
Selfie. Yeah. Justin Bieber just wrote, "You got knocked the F out," I think, and he got like 200,000 retweets on it right after him. And then there was a go-to response like, "How long would he last in the octagon?"
Yeah.
About as long as his dad lasted when he.
Interesting. That's all we got for Ronda Rousey. I was going to talk a little bit more about how Dominick Cruz, a fighter who hadn't lost in 10 years, handled his press conference, which was unbelievable. That's how you handle losing like a champion. And for the record, Dominick Cruz versus Cody Garbrandt, 50,000 times better of a fight than Rousey versus Nunez. And so was TJ Dillashaw's dominance over Hands of Stone, John Lineker. So as for the bantamweights, because there was all bantamweight fights, whether it be men's or women's, the division has been flipped on its head and should be very interesting for for the UFC in 2017.
Can you make that sound effect again? Interesting.
Comment below, like, favorite, and subscribe to the channel. Ding the bell, whatever that means. Not really sure. At JasonRubin91, at Francis Maxwell on Twitter. Oh, you got it back, right?
What?
No, it's still an underscore?
Ah, still underscore.
I thought that was left. I thought the underscore got left in 2016.
I wish it
the
did.
Underscore carries over into 2017.
All the catastrophes that happened in 2016, that's undoubtedly the worst one. That I cannot get rid of the underscore.
Even though you own Francis.
Even though I own it.
Fucking unbelievable. Comment below. We'll see you next time.